Hey guys, welcome to my channel, SC Creations. My name is Sandy, and this is my first video on my channel. And today we're going to be copying this image and sublimating it to a MDF sublimation substrate. So I just wanted to show you how I got this image. So what I did was I went on Google and I typed in 2020 stink stank stunk, and then I wrote SVG, and then it brought me to a bunch of images. So I liked this one the best, and it was the clearest with a white background. So what you do is you save your image. So I already saved it. Then you go into your silhouette, and I'm going to show you how I got here. Let me just copy one of these. And let me ungroup this, and I'm going to delete this and show you how I got the image. So basically, oops, sorry. So basically, this is my blank page. So now I'm going to go get my image. So here's the image here. And what I did was I went to my tracing tool and I selected my trace area, which is only the image. As you can see here, only some of it is highlighted, so you're going to have to play around over here with your threshold, and I'm going to just move it up until I see more of it go yellow. You do not want this because right here you're going to copy all these dots. You don't want that, so we're just going to lower it a little bit. And that looks good. So now we're going to hit trace and detach. What this does is it traces the outside of the image and it detaches it from the rest of the image. So you're left with just what you have traced. So give me 1 second. Okay, so we're just going to hit delete and the whole background will be gone. So now you just have to delete these big pieces here. Okay. What you can do is if you click shift and, sorry, give me 1 second, you can group all these. Group all these. Okay, and then we're going to link them all together and group them all. So now we can move that. And then if you go like this, if there's anything extra, like this little dot here, you can just delete that. So now that we have it all grouped together, I'm just going to make this a bit smaller so I can fit it on top of the ornament. I'm just going to zoom in so you can see the ornament. And I just want to let you guys know that anything that is white, so these zeros and then this white here, it will not show. Sublimation ink does not print white, but because the substrate is white, anything white it'll just stay white. So the background will be white, it just doesn't print white ink. So then what I did was I just zoomed this in, out, smaller, until it fit. Okay, so that fits perfect. And then I just grouped it together and I duplicated it. Okay, so for this I did print and cut. So what you're going to want to do is go to the page setup page and click on this little registration marks and turn that on, because we're going to want to print it and then cut it out in a circle so that it fits the ornament perfectly. And you're just going to make sure you stay within the red lines. and you do not go over the registration mark. Okay guys, so you just want to make sure that you stay within the red lines and you do not go over the registration mark. So, and it's best that you put the registration on mark first so you know what your area is going to look like. Also, if you're printing on letter size paper, so 8.5 by 11, just make sure you select either letter or printer, because I have my printer set on letter anyway already, so that's why I selected printer. But if you just select letter here, it's the same thing. Okay, so then now I have those two, and I'm just going to duplicate that again. Okay, and I'm going to bring that down, and then I'm going to do it one more time because I printed 6, because 6 fit on here. So you might just have to play around with the layout. So what I did was I moved this one up a little bit and this one up a little bit, and then that's perfect. Now there's all 6. And what you're going to want to do is, because you're doing print and cut, basically you have to have the screen show exactly the way it's going to show when it's printed. So I'm going to flip it horizontally, and you see how that moved? So we're just going to move it over, make sure it's within the red lines. Okay, so I just flipped all of these horizontally. So horizontally, I clicked that button there, and then now we're going to do print and cut. So make sure you go to File, Print Page Setup, and make sure you're on the right printer and the right size paper. And then you would hit Print. I've already printed this, so I'm not going to actually print it. And when it says flip horizontally here, just uncheck that because we've already flipped it. We don't want it to flip again because we want it to be in reverse, because the image is going to go down on top of the substrate, so we want it to be horizontally, but we already have it flipped, so we don't need that. And then you just hit print, and then once this sheet is printed out with the registration marks, you're going to want to put this on your Silhouette Cameo mat, and you're going to go to the Send panel, and you see how everything is highlighted in red? That's everything that would be cut. We don't want all this cut. So I'm going to go to Line, and it's already selected the black line for me, the outline. So that's what I want to cut. I want to cut the circle, and I want to cut the outline. I do not want to cut the middle part because that's the print that we're going to press onto the substrate. If you select this one as well, you can see it's going to highlight everything inside, and we don't want that. So you would just click that, and my machine is not on, that's why it says unavailable. But I selected cardstock, even though it's just printer paper, but it's A sub, so it's a little bit thicker. It's sublimation paper, so then you would just hit send, and your machine would read the registration marks, and then it would come out cut in circles. Okay, so now we're going to go back into the video. Okay, so I just printed this design off of Google, and I printed it on a sub paper with sublimation inks, and there's the design on the computer. And now I'm going to put this through my Cameo and cut them out so that they fit onto this ornament. This is a sublimation ornament that I purchased off of Alliexpress. And it came with probably, I think, 20 of them. So I'm going to line this up on my mat. make sure it's stuck. And I'll let you see my cameo now. It's hidden behind this huge monitor. Sorry about that. Make sure it's on there really good. And we're gonna put it in, to line it up with the line over here. Now it's ready to cut. So on my screen here, I'm going to the send panel and I'm gonna do just put it on cardstock, and we're not going to do the inside of the design, we're only going to cut the outside. So you can see the black line is where I'm cutting. And then send. Now it's cutting properly. That's finished, so we're going to release it. And now what you'll see when I pull this off, so it left behind perfect circles. And I created this template for this substrate myself. What I did was I took a measuring tape, and I went across, and it was 8 centimeters by 8 centimeters even. So I made an 8 by 8 circle. So there are holes in it and everything, so I can perfectly match it up to the substrate, sorry. Just got to get all these little dots off. Okay. So now I am going to use some heat tape that I bought off of Amazon. And I'm just gonna cut a few little strips. Okay, and now I'm going to take my substrate, the circle, and I'm going to make sure it's clean. I just took the plastic film off of it, and I'm going to line up the hole that I made and line it up with the hole that's on the design. As you can see, I actually am a little bit off. If you can tell, it's a little bit over. But that's okay. I just put the hole there so that I make sure that the design stays within the circle. So I can adjust that after, but this one's fine because I stayed within. I don't know if you can see, but the design I can see through the window with the lighting, and the design is all there. So this will be our first tester. And I just put a piece of tape on the top so it doesn't move, and a piece of tape on the bottom. Just wrapped it around. And now I'm going to press it facing up like this with a piece of butcher paper on top at 375 for 60 seconds. So I'll be right back, and I will show you, and we'll see if it worked out, because we're testing out the heat right now. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so here's the item finished, and it's very hot. So I'm just going to carefully pull this paper off. And as you can see, that worked. And it's perfect coloring. And it says 2020 stink, stank, stunk. So 375 for 60 seconds works perfect. And then when this is ready to sell, Alliexpress also gave these ribbons with it. And I'll put a link to the Alliexpress shop that I bought this off of below. It's still very warm. But let me just tie this up here. You just do a little tie like that. And now this is ready to hang on a tree. Oh, it says 2020 stink, stank, stunk. So I'm gonna make a few more of these. I cut up 6 in total, so I'm gonna make 6 of them with you right here. So I'll show you. The substrate comes like this, and the side that you sub on has a coating, a protective coating. So we're just gonna take the coating off. Okay, and then again we're gonna line up the hole with the hole. And then we're gonna put a piece of tape on the top and on the bottom so it doesn't move. Okay. So again, on the heat press, we're gonna put it down like this with the sub paper with the ink on the top. So I'm just gonna tape up the rest. Let me cut some more tape. Again, this is heat tape that I got off Amazon. If you just type in heat tape, it'll come up. I think it came in a pack of like 4 or 6, and it comes with a couple different sizes. I tend to, well, I use them all, but I tend to just use the small ones first. Okay, so I'm just gonna take a couple more of these. And guys, this is my first video for my channel. So if you are liking what you're seeing, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, as I need some subscribers, guys. So this is just me trying to rip off the substrate covering. It's a plastic coating that protects it when it's So you can see it just peels off. And again, we're just going to line up. So I made this circle myself on my Cameo software. And I did make the hole a little bit too low, so I will fix that after, but it still worked out. So we're just going to tape the top and bottom. So there's 2 of them done. And let's do another one. Some of them you can tell which side has the coating, and some of them it's hard to tell. So I am going to again line up the hole. I think it was like $20 Canadian for about 20 of these, so they're like $1 each. I'm not sure, I have to check again. So there's 3 of them. Let's get another one so I can tell this side has the plastic coating. You just kind of have to use your nails and just pick at it, and eventually you'll get an area to pull. If you have any questions, you can leave them below. I've been doing sublimation since, I believe, 2018. And I know you guys can't see the design that I can see, but I can tell where it's lined up with the actual substrate underneath. And so you didn't even have to put a hole in it, to tell you the truth. I'm actually going to remove the hole. I just put the hole there so that I know if there's a design that covers the whole thing, then I know where the hole is on the image, so that I don't put like someone's face, for example, on the hole and then there's a hole in their face. So it's the last one I'm going to do. Take off the protective coating. Okay, and then I'm going to tape this on. One more piece of tape for the bottom. If you hear any noises in the background, it's my kids or my dog. Okay, and I'm going to go press all of these at one time. There's 5 of them. And then I'll be right back. Okay guys, again, the heat press was set at 375 for 60 seconds, and these are very hot. Okay, so I'm going to be careful. Okay, so this is what the end result is. 2020 stink, stank, stunk. And it's the Grinch holding a mask. So I'm going to take these off and show you. They're still hot. There's one. Ouch, that one's hot. can tell this one's a little bit faint actually. It still looks good, but it's a little bit faint, so the pressure in my heat press wasn't even. That's why sometimes I like to do one at a time. But you can tell a big difference in the brightness of the color. The heat press pressure wasn't even. And this one is very bright. Okay. Just gonna throw all this in the garbage. And then, like I said, these ornaments, these blanks came with this red ribbon. And so I'm just gonna tie a little loop at the top. So this one that came out a little bit light, I'm just going to keep this one for myself. I'm not going to sell this one. And the last one out of the 6, this one's still hot. And my heat press is also from Amazon. It's not a very expensive one. I think it was like $300 Canadian. It's not like a very good one, but I've had it for a couple years and it does pretty good. So here's all 6. And so as you can see, they turned out pretty awesome. Let me back up the camera a bit. As you can see, they turned out pretty awesome. So please make sure you like, comment, subscribe to see more videos.